2020 and 2021. It's been a really challenging time and an interesting one. For some of us, we're doing really well. We've got more work-life balance. We're spending more time with the family at home. We're finding new interests and hobbies. Whereas for others, it's a hugely challenging and triggering event. Now, what do we mean by a triggering event? What we'll do is in functional medicine is work with someone and go back over their whole life to find episodes and events in their life which correlate with the onset of health issues. This is what we call a trigger for them. So we're starting to really see this reflect in practice at the moment with the challenges of the last couple of years really catching up with people. So at the moment we're seeing a lot of fatigue, which makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? People have really been trying to make sure they're financially secure for a long time, make sure they're trying to take care of their health as much as possible, and that's starting to catch up with us. So we can really deal with short-term stressful events well. However, when it's sustained for long periods of time, we start to get more and more exhausted. Our adrenals struggle to keep up with the demand of our body. We burn through nutrients in our body trying to do that, and we don't absorb nutrients as well when we're stressed. A second thing we're seeing is more weight gain. And I think we all know someone has put on weight through this period at some point, which is completely understandable. Many of us are struggling to find coping mechanisms to deal with the challenges this time brings. And we're also working from home a lot more. So the fridge is just there and we're constantly grazing through the day and taking on more and more calories through the day, which we wouldn't do and wouldn't have that access all the time if we were at work. Another thing we're seeing at the moment is a lot of hormone imbalance, which again makes a lot of sense. We have a famous saying in functional medicine that imbalanced hormones will really reflect an imbalanced life. Now, who is feeling imbalanced in life at the moment? I can certainly tell you that we are. It's taken us probably 2 months to balance ourselves out somewhat since the last lockdown and find a routine to help with that. So for women, particularly when we see big stressful events happen ongoing for long periods of time, we see something called estrogen dominance, which is where their estrogen is at a far higher level than their progesterone. And that manifests as a lot of different symptoms in the body. For men, we're seeing lower testosterone. For men, when we're stressed and inflamed, our testosterone really drops. And that can manifest as depression, low energy, low libido, putting on weight, amongst other things. Another thing we're seeing is thyroid issues. Now, when we get fatigued and our adrenals start to struggle, that really has a knock-on effect onto our thyroid. And when our thyroid starts to struggle, that then also has a knock-on effect to sex steroids like estrogen and testosterone. So what you find is with hormones, it's a big web of interconnected hormones, and if one comes out of balance, it will affect others. So they're all interlinked. And then lastly, what we're also seeing is more autoimmunity. And I think this is what we're going to see after the pandemic more and more, where the stresses have caught up with people. We're seeing this a lot, and I think the main thing, some of the main reasons for this is firstly, again, stress. Stress presents a huge danger signal to our body, and when our body adapts to stress or changes in the body happen when we're under stress, that presents a huge danger signal to the immune system. And when that goes on for long periods of time, it keeps the immune system switched on and keeps it from switching off, exactly like we see in autoimmunity. Another reason for this may well be that we're surrounded by chemicals at the moment. We are spraying chemicals everywhere. They're all over our hands. Some people are spraying their food with chemicals. So when chemicals are really all around us and on us, they typically get into us. And when chemicals get into us, our immune system sees these foreign, freak-like, non-natural substances as invaders, and it therefore attacks it. So often we'll find toxins can really underpin and underlie someone's autoimmune condition. Lastly, another reason for autoimmunity comes to the gut. Now, when we're stressed, we don't digest food very well. So when we don't digest food, we have more unbroken down food particles sitting around the gut. When we're also stressed, we can develop something called leaky gut. So typically what happens is these unbroken down food particles can get presented to the immune system through this leaky gut wall, and that can really set off an autoimmune type reaction. So these are the type of things that we're seeing. It'd be interesting to hear if you've noticed anything around you really popping up more and more. But again, it's not everybody that's suffering during this time, which really reiterates the point that it's not just about the event that happens, it's really about how we deal with that event and how we respond, which judges how it has an impact on our health. So the more self-care we can do, the more we can get ourselves into a state of calm, the better off we'll be through this time, and the less of this type of stuff we'll start to see.